Argylle approaches Lagrange and asks her to dance. Already on the dance floor, he asks if she can make a helicopter. Lagrange says yes, and they begin to twirl. They look into each other's eyes. Then Lagrange admits he knows Argylle. And this whole club is a big trap, but that doesn't scare Argylle. He asks Kira for help. The whole club fills with smoke, and Argylle easily escapes. But on the way out, Lagrange is already waiting for them. She fires all the bullets and leaves. Kira is wounded. Argylle wants to save the girl, but Director Fowler orders to complete the mission, having to continue the chase. After jumping over several houses and driving down the railing, he manages to catch up with Lagrange. But the wheels come off and Argylle is left behind. That's when White sits nearby, and with just one move, he stops Lagrange. The duo orders the man who told her about the ambush to be handed over. Turns out Director Fowler is a traitor. He warned Lagrange of every move Argylle made. Moments later, Lagrange eats the poison and dies. White is asked to cut off communication with the director and escape. This whole story is kept in a book by the writer Ellie. Her books are immensely popular. It is believed that her spy novels are read by real spies. She even somehow manages to predict political events. In the evenings, Ellie squeaks out a sequel to her book. Argylle buys a key to the master file. In London, he gets a call from the greatest hacker ever. This is where the book ends. Tomorrow, Ellie gets a call from her mother. She really liked the book, but the ending is very strange. Ellie explains that it's a cliffhanger. The mother offers to rewrite the ending and Ellie agrees. But there is a small problem. Ellie doesn't know how to finish the book. To get inspiration, she takes her cat and goes to her mother's house in person. On the train, Aiden sits next to her and starts reading her book. After a couple of minutes, Aiden realizes that the author of the book is sitting in front of him.
Is this your Ellie friggin' Conway?
Aiden recognizes that he is working as a spy. Ellie starts going crazy and begins to see Argylle. Aiden explains that there are enemies sitting next to them, but he will protect her, when suddenly a fan approaches them and asks them to sign the book. Inside the pen was a hidden syringe. Aiden instantly knocks the fan out and asks Ellie not to be afraid of him. A gunfight ensues, but Aiden skillfully disarms his opponents.
That's nice, thanks.
Ellie tries to escape. Aiden runs after her and covers her from the bandits, while Aiden fights for his life. Ellie imagines Argylle in his place, who easily defeats any opponent. Every time Ellie blinks, Aiden and Argylle switch places. Ellie is recognized by the man who came to her fan meeting. The enemies prove to be too many, and they drive the duo into the last wagon. Aiden asks Ellie to hug him, and they parachute away. Closer to bedtime, Ellie comes to her senses. Aiden has already shaved and explains that Ellie is in big trouble. At this point, Carlos sneaks into her house. He's working for the real version of the villains in her books. Their head is Principal Ritter, and he's very interested in Ellie. She doesn't understand why the spies want to capture her. Aiden explains that it's because of her ability to predict the future. In Book 5, she wrote a story that takes place in the real world. To defeat the villains, he needs Ellie's help. Aiden is the embodiment of Argylle. When he was in London, he was contacted by a hacker. He gathered all the evidence on the organization and put a master file in Flash. But the hacker never showed up. Now everyone is trying to find him, and they think Ellie will be the one to find him. All that's left is to fly to London. Ellie has never been on an airplane before, so she's very nervous. Ida asks her to think about what is real and right in front of her eyes. Then all the fear will go away. This calms Ellie down. London. They arrive at the place where Aiden was supposed to meet the hacker. He asks Ellie to think of a reason why he didn't show up. One of Ellie's fans starts a stream. It's noticed by the spies. Ritter is incredibly happy with her luck and asks to send people to catch her. Ellie starts writing a sequel. Argylle guesses that the phone holds a crypto chip with a clue as to where to find the hacker. Aiden hacks into the database and finds the closest satellite to them, but the duo didn't take into account that their conversation was being monitored by Ritter. There was an empty apartment at the right address. Underneath the floor was a hidden safe. Inside was money and the key to the boat, as well as a notebook with an anarchist symbol. As an armed squad stops near the building, but the duo manages to hide in the stash. Suddenly a cat starts meowing. Aiden jumps out from under the floor and kills all the enemies. A stun grenade throws him straight into a chair. Aiden knows that the people from the administration are arriving in waves. Soon a new squad will arrive here. Aiden uses a metal spoon as a mirror, then throws a light and noise grenade, and while the enemy is in the stun, he kills them easily. A third group is approaching, but the duo manages to escape by boat. In the evening, Argylle asks Ellie why she thinks he's not real if she can talk to him. Ellie asks him to leave, and Argylle disappears. She then notices Aiden talking to someone. He says how much Ellie pisses him off, and if he didn't need her, he would have shot her a long time ago. Ellie's face changes, and she quietly runs away. Ellie has no papers and no money, so she asks her mother for help. A couple days later, the family is reunited. Her father turns out to be Mr. Ritter. Ellie begins to talk about everything that has happened to her in the last few days. Ritter asks to see the diary she found. It contains the information he needs. Suddenly, Aiden bursts into the room. Turns out Ellie's whole family are enemy agents, and Aiden wants to save her.
Let's go. Come on! Let's go!
On the street, Ellie remembers that she left her cat in the room. Aiden explains that they can't go back. There are too many enemies there, so Ellie has to leave. In France, a small house, and Alfred, the former director of the CIA, were waiting for them. He has a scary secret for Ellie. Her books are not a prediction, but a past she's lived through. She used to be a secret agent. Ellie isn't going to believe it. Aiden gets the idea to attack Ellie. This awakens her muscle memory, and she defeats Aiden.
Hi, Rachel.
The two agencies start a race to decipher the diary. Aiden says that Ellie went to meet the hacker, but something happened to her and she never came back. She was somehow transported to the shore of the lake with multiple injuries. She was found by her enemies and transported to the US. Ritter took advantage of her amnesia. Dr. Margaret tested her new identity rewrites so they could find out where the master file was stored and encouraged Ellie to start writing books. It worked, and she started writing about her life. The white in her books is Aiden. Kira is also real, but died on a mission. Ellie reveals that she was going to bring Kira back in book 6, but Alfred suddenly distracts them. He manages to decipher the diary. The key must be sought from Saba. She can only give the key to one person, Rachel. Ellie is afraid that she won't be able to be like Rachel, but the duo reassures the girl. Arabian Peninsula. The Guardian lives in a very guarded palace. There's an armed man on every corner and entrance only after scanning, so while they wait for the Guardian, they decide to take a little spin. Saba is watching. Aiden decides to reveal that until she lost her memory, they were a couple. A little while later, Saba calls Ellie, and in order to give her the key, she needs to realize who is sitting in front of her. Argylle says goodbye to Ellie, and she accepts her new self. Inside the flash was all the information she needed, and it really scares Ellie. Margaret came to the palace. She managed to survive as she was wearing a bulletproof vest. Here, they will not be able to kill each other, so she suggests they talk. Margaret asks if she liked the information on the flash drive. Turns out she found and killed the hacker. After he died, the purge system activated, and Ellie was thrown into the river. She was a double agent working for the agency. Aiden's not gonna believe it. Afterward, the whole trio passes out. Ellie wakes up at Ritter's house, and he asks Ellie to tell him where Alfred is hiding. Aiden couldn't give them the information they needed. Maybe Ellie will get it. She starts the interrogation. Aiden will answer her question if she answers his question first. Why she didn't kill him, but decided to run away with him. Ritter tells him not to listen. Ellie has always been loyal to the agency. She grabs a gun and shoots Aiden. She then manages to find Alfred's base and send the master key. Turns out it was all Ellie's plan. Aiden is alive and has neutralized the guards. However, she didn't take into account that the master key might not reach Alfred. She knocks out Ritter and runs to get the cat. In the armory, Aiden runs into Ellie, and she manages to kill him, so they're on the same side. Now, they have to come up with an escape plan. The smoke grenades will help them. The corridor fills with colorful smoke, and the duo fights their way out. They even manage to dance and do a reverse helicopter. When the smoke clears, the duo jumps into a vent. There are fuel drums stored on the bottom floor. All the soldiers have to ditch their assault rifles and pick up knives. But it's not easy to walk. The whole floor has become slippery. Ellie gets an idea to make skates out of knives and boots, and in just a minute, destroy all the soldiers. Ritter has to figure it out personally, but his plan is ruined by a cat and one accurate shot. All that's left is to activate the satellite link and confirm the data transmission. Margaret calls a few words and Ellie goes into a trance. A fight starts, but Aiden can't hit Ellie. He notices that when the music stops playing, Ellie's sanity returns, and moments before he dies, a random coworker comes to the rescue. That employee turns out to be Kira. The movie ends with a scene of the trio leaving on a boat and a ship exploding behind them. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your comment. See you very soon. Bye.